If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC24, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC24 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Guys, we're going to be doing a live content video for today. What we're going to be doing is I'll probably be doing a review for Nakata, but not necessarily for the other players, right? Because it's showdown cards. I'm personally like not too crazy about showdown cards because of the fact that, you know, you require the upgrade on them, and then a lot of the times you kind of want the extra upgrade, which is why they release evolutions for them, so on and so forth, right? So mostly sentimental, but some cards could be pretty fun. Like Howler and Alexandro definitely look like very interesting options, right? But the first card that we have here is Nakata, right? So this card was initially getting dislikes for the price range that he's at. Gonna be honest with you, I don't really understand the dislikes on the card, because I think your first initial thought when you're looking at him is to use him as like a main attacker. And sure, you can use him as a main attacker, absolutely, especially with the you know, the hunter chemistry style to boost the pace as well as the shooting on the card. However, with Nakata, you can actually give him a shadow and just use him as your attacking oriented center mid, right? That has some defensive capabilities. So let's say, for instance, you enjoy playing like a 4-1-2-1-2 formation, or you play a 4-3-2-1. That's actually how I personally see him being played. And the thing about this, right, is that you can kind of rotate him in your team as well, right? So technically speaking, if you were to give him the hunter, right, and you rotate him as like the attacking oriented center mid that has some defensive capabilities, remember that he does have a 92 for interceptions and stuff, right? So it's actually very helpful because his play styles is finesse shot plus, which is a W because he does have the 5-star weak foot to work with. He's got pings pass plus, chip shot, dead ball, incisive pass, long ball pass, press proven, and quick step, right? So he has a bunch of passing capabilities, generally speaking. So with him, we might actually do a review for him, because it's just 73.6k and it's just for one card, so I wouldn't really mind doing that. We'll have this video, the Nakata video, and then maybe like 2 tactic videos or something as well, right? Just before team of the season, because they're basically on a mid-off right now for content before team of the season. But yeah, hunter chemistry style to boost the pace as well as the shooting on the card puts him in a pretty good area, but then you can also go in the direction of giving him a shadow too to boost the pace as well as the defending, with passing being a good area. He does have 90s for dribbling, and then he does have a 92 for stamina. He has no physical capabilities, right? But as I mentioned, for the price of the SBC, and for the types of players that you may want to put in your squad, it's not looking that bad, to be honest with you, right? Maybe we could try him on like a 4-1-2-2 to see how he could generally play, right? The next card that we have here is Alexandro. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think this is a card that, if you believe can get the upgrade, is looking really, really solid, right? The reason why I'm saying this is because it's almost like reminding me of a Reece James card, right? So right now with Alexandro, Whipped Pass Plus and the Jockey Plus are both very good playstyles, right? Very, very good playstyles. Jockey Plus has been, in my opinion, significantly more noticeable after the patch than it was before it. Before it was still very relevant, but after it, it just makes your players feel faster when you're defending, right? So the Alexandro, it's probably going to be a card that, you know, you give a shadow chemistry style to, you boost the pace, be as high as possible, as well as the defending and the physical. What I'm curious to see is if it is possible to make him a lengthy, with a physical boost on an anchor in the, like, with the potential of a future improvement, because I think that would actually be a really big deal. So anchor, you can't do that, because here's the thing, right? If he gets the pace boost, like, you're still going to give him a shadow. In my opinion, you just need to maximize his pace to be as high as possible. But to be fair, his physical is already in a pretty decent spot. Giving him defensive stat increases, I think, would definitely be very noticeable in the card. Playstyles wise, Whipped Pass Plus, Jockey Plus, Power Shot, Slide Tackle, Rapid, and the First Touch to work with too. He has no defensive stuff, but again, I could still see him being really solid. There was a specific year in FIFA where Alexandro had a card and he was actually a very, very solid left back, but this was like years and years ago, right? where he was like really, really nice as a left back. So there's potential with this one, because as I mentioned, with cards like this, EA could drop that special sauce on them, right? Another thing to mention is that a card like this could potentially get a nice evolution in the future while being on an anchored chemistry style, because this card can also be rotated into the center back position. But be mindful of this, right? Because if this was back in the day, right, without the whole play style situation, then I could see him being a center back that's just like a beast right away. But he doesn't have any play styles, right? He's got no intercept, he's got no block, none of those, right? But again, EA can with the showdown cards sometimes, right? So you got to be very mindful of that as well. So this is a card worth looking into, because I don't think the price range of where he's at is bad whatsoever. I think 25.8k is pretty decent. It's just their small ways of kind of draining people's fodder as much as possible, I would say, right? Sebastian Haller, I could see this card being interesting for some people as well, just because, you know, some people might enjoy using the physical type attackers. That could be really fun to work with, right? 36.3k, you can't really go wrong with that price in a general sense. He is a mostly lengthy card with most of the chemistry styles that you'd provide him, but you could still give him an engine as well, right, to boost his dribbling to be as high as possible while still keeping him at a lengthy, and then shooting on the card would be in a better situation. So I think that this card is actually in a pretty cheap situation too. Maybe we do a review for him as well, right? But he actually looks pretty interesting, right? 36.3k is a pretty low price for a card that could actually be really interesting in game as a physical type attacker, right? Because the thing about him, right, is that Power Shot Plus, for some people who actually enjoy using it on a consistent basis, like it is a good play style for people that actually use it. But it's the Aerial Plus with potentially... Okay, yeah, so here's the kicker with the card, right? Aerial Plus with Power Header, okay? That's a really important thing to mention. Aerial Plus with Power Header while already working with good physical stats in that area. If you don't care too much about the dribbling and like crossing is more of your thing, you could just give him a Hawk chemistry style to boost his physical to be as high as possible, his shooting to be as high as possible, and his pace. The people who will enjoy this card the most are the people that use that 4-3-2-1 and use their left forward and right forward to kind of win the ball in the air, because you have to understand that Aerial Plus is not just for scoring, it's also for heading the ball from a pass as well, right? So being able to use Aerial Plus to head the ball off to somebody else would definitely be a pretty big meta play style to work with, right? So 242 likes to dislikes. Might be a card worth checking out review wise as well, but it's 36.3k. You know, it's not really a card that like we have to review, you know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty cheap for people to try out, right? But on a Hawk chemistry style, he looks pretty solid. On an engine in the future, if he gets those base card stats improved, also looks pretty solid as well. So this is not a bad SPC, right? 36.3k for people who enjoy using those types of attackers. There's actually a lot of potential to work with, right? Caputo, this card is generic AF, I believe. I mean, like, technically speaking, you could go in the direction of boosting certain areas of the card, but even if he gets the showdown improvement, I think he would need an evolution on top of that to be really nice. Could I see him potentially being pretty decent to use? I mean, sure, you know, if you give him like a Hawk chemistry style, at the end of the day, he does have a high-low work rate, he has a 5-star weak foot, so the usability is obviously still there. He doesn't have sprint speed and his dribbling is low, but it's definitely possible. But I think like interest wise, probably not going to be as crazy interesting for people. The thing is that like, because he has Finesse Shot Plus and because that playstyle is so effective, it's all about just creating that one little space for yourself to score your opportunities, right? He even has Tiki Taka Plus, so you know, using him as the aggressive cam in the team might not be a bad situation either. But again, it's a card that needs the improvements, I would say. Especially since on an engine, he still needs those base card stats improved in multiple areas for him to be really nice. But yeah, definitely a card that really requires the win if he's gonna end up being any decent, right? But the last card that we have here is going to be the Jensen card. This card, I think, is another one that joins like Sentimental FC as well. I don't think it's gonna be a card that interests a lot of people for a long period of time. But from what I'm seeing, I mean, technically speaking, you could give him a shadow for the future as well. Would I do that? No. It's definitely a card that you use in the main attacking positions on a Hunter chemistry style, excuse me. Controlled lengthy player, 4-star, 4-star, high work rates, high average average and normal body type. I think if this card was on the market, he would be like probably way cheaper. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think this is gonna be a card that's gonna interest a lot of people, unless it's for sentimental value, right? I think that's gonna be like the main thing to look at. Passing stats, decent area. I mean, what are people even saying about this card? Let's see. I don't know what that means actually. Augsburg card as well. Passing is in a decent area. Yeah, I mean, even if he gets the showdown improvement, but I would say he needed another evolution on top of it to be nice. But again, for the sentimental value for people that are actually like building those sort of squads, you can't really go wrong with that. So yeah, I think the more interesting cards today is definitely going to be Nakata if you use them in a specific way. Alexandro could definitely be very decent as well, but then Sebastian Haller I think is a card to look into as well. So we could potentially do a review for like Haller and Nakata on the same team, maybe, because Borussia Dortmund, I can work with Bundesliga players in my team, and Nakata is just a card that just gets links no matter what, right? So we could definitely try that out if given the opportunity. But yeah, we'll leave it there, guys, for now. That is the content for today. Let me know what you guys want to see. I think Caputo and Janssen are not going to be as interesting. Alexandro's a left back, so it's kind of like, unless it was like a Reece James SBC, like as big as that, then we'd probably check that out. But I think Haller and stuff could probably be the more interesting choices for people to take a look at base card stats wise, right? But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this introduction video for the content. If you guys want to see more of these types of videos, be sure to let me know in the comment section, man. Hopefully it does well and we can continue it in the future. Peace out, my dudes. Love you guys.